Okay, hi everyone. My name is Nathan, and welcome to my very first dev vlog on my new project, TrendBuzz. Okay. Now TrendBuzz is going to be a video streaming app, kind of like YouTube, where you can watch videos, explore genres, and even scroll through shorts. Okay. Now the idea behind this series is to share my progress daily or weekly, but I want it to be daily so that it builds discipline. Okay, because that's really one thing you have to do in this coding business. You have to make sure you're coding every, okay, I won't say every single day, right? But it's like you have to be progressive while you're coding because there's a whole bunch of things you have to learn every single week. It's like they put out a new version of a new programming language and everything, so you really have to be hands down when it comes to coding. Okay, now the idea behind this series is that you want to see my daily progress here as I build the project using React, TypeScript, and also Tailwind. And I'm still learning Tailwind and TypeScript, right? So you're going to see my growth in real time, my mistakes and my fixes and everything in between. Okay, let's get started, all right? Okay, first of all, since I'm gonna be coding with React and everything, I'll say that your code manipulator, right? I want to say that you should use VS Code. So I'm going to be using VS Code as my compiler and everything, all right? Okay, so now, to create a React app, that's the first thing we have to do. Let's get it. We have to create the React app, and we have to open our terminal. I'm going to create the project using Vite. It's fast. It works well because it's fast, works well, and there's different variations that you can use. All right. Okay, now, so we have to open our command prompt, like terminal, and then you could just go over here and just click terminal. All right, new terminal. All right, yeah. Or you could use the shortcut. That's Control J. That opens it up. Okay, so right now I'm in my user, right? But I want to navigate to documents. So I'm going to go with the CD. I'm going to put documents. Okay, now that we're in documents, it's time to create the app. Okay, so now you're going to go with npm create Vite at latest, and then it's going to be 1 sec. I already coded the out. I already made it out, so we can just continue from there. Okay, you see it. npm create Vite at latest. Then you name it what you want to name it. Since we're using it, we're going to call ours Trend Buzz. It's a really funny name. I came up with it myself. Okay, so now we wait for it to install. So it shouldn't take that long. It depends on your network. It shouldn't take that long. Yeah, back at it. So this is where we are now. TrendBuzz, that's the name, right? Going for, right? So you press enter. Then press enter. Oh, sorry. That's write it down. Trend buzz. Enter. Okay, then we have to go down all the way to React, and then we're going to click TypeScript here. Okay. So now, yeah, it comes up with commands, right, on how you do it. First, you have to navigate into that app. So that's going to be cd TrendBuzz. cd TrendBuzz. Okay, now we're inside there. Okay, so now we're going to use the command, which is npm install. Sorry, with npm install. Like I said, this should be very quick, very fast, right? It depends on your internet, right? So I hope mine's fast. All right, let's go. So you can see it's loading and it's loading, it's going. And like that, you see it's already done. Okay, so now the next thing we have to do is run the React app. So that's going to be npm run dev. You see it's coming up. Okay, like that. Okay, now this local file, you're going to click the control. You're going to click control and then you're going to left click on it, which is going to open up in your browser. All right, and like that, we have a React and TypeScript app. Oh, okay, so now let's go back to our app. Okay, okay. Now to start editing your code, you're going to have to open the folder which you created in your terminal. You just come over here. You see it's over here if you open it. And if you don't want to use the start here, you can always come up here to file and then open click here to or with the command, so which is also Control K or Control K, Control C. Okay, now let's do that. Opening folder. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to remember we put it in documents. So now we're going to look for it. What do we call it? TrendBuzz. Alright, so that's the name. TrendBuzz. And then there it is, TrendBuzz. And you see it's already up and running. Okay, another part of the video I forgot to mention in the front was also I'm going to be showing you how you can also work with I'm going to show you how you can also work with AI, because like yeah, coding people will be like, oh my god, you code the AI, that's not good, this and that. But I would beg to differ, because you if something makes your job easier, why not do it? Why stress yourself? Because you can't memorize every single line of code out there. You can't memorize every single library out there. So that's why you have to use code AI sometimes. And I'm not saying you should heavily rely on AI. Using AI is good, but moderation is also nice. So you also know what you're doing, and your entire code doesn't just follow on what the AI is doing, and you don't even know what your code is doing at that point. All right, because we're going to be working with AI too. We already have the Copilot extension out here. Let me put down this and come. All right, all right. Okay, so now let's continue. Okay, now you see, I remember I told you that our app was created. Right, so this is how it looks like here. And if we come here and you open the SRC, right, you can see everything that builds up what you just saw on the website. All right. Okay, let me just go through that. So this is our index position. But this shows, when like you open the app, you see the title React plus this, and then where is that thing again? Yeah, this is script. It shows, oh, where is opening first. The main.tsx. That's also holds the like the layers and everything you're going to see there. Okay. Okay, now that we're done creating our React and TypeScript, next is to create our to configure our tailwind. Okay, that's control. Yeah, like I said, control J. Bring it up again. Control J. Gonna come up. Okay, now remember CD. Then you have to do the trend buzz. Oh, we're already in the trend buzz. That's nice. All right. Okay, so now we can just do the npm run there, but I think it's already running here. Let's close this. Let's come back in. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to do the npm. Okay, before we do that, let's configure that so we know it's configured before I run it again. And yes, if you're starting up Tailwind, there's the documentation is out there. All you have to do is search up Tailwind CSS on Google, or I use Brave. It's the browser it allows you the browser, it's blocks ads really well. That's one of the reasons I use it, right? But if you're beginning and you really don't know what's going on, I would prefer that you use Google. Okay. Okay, so now you see this is even telling you this is our documentation and everything you need to know about Tailwind CSS. Everything is here, and this is what I'm going to be using in creating this app. Okay. Okay, so now we're using Vite, right? You see here we're using post CSS, using Vite. Okay, so now it says that start by creating a Vite project if you don't have one set up already. the common approach is to use create Vite. That's that, remember, that's what we did. But instead of my project, it was TrendBuzz we added, and then we entered the project. So now this is what we're going to use to install it. So now we're going to Control C. That's to copy that, and then we're going to come over here in our code editor, and I'm going to put it in there. Install. Okay, now, like I said, this thing shouldn't take that long, but it really depends. It really depends on what kind of internet you're using. And just like that, we're done. All right. So now, if we go back to that thing, right, we also have to configure it inside our Vite configuration too. So you see this here. Wait, you see this, import TailwindCSS from at tailwind/Vite, and then we also have to add the plugin too. So we're going to copy this as it is, right? Because you're not really changing everything, and then you come down to your Vite.config. Right? You see how the way everything is. It really already looks the same. Sorry, one sec. Already looks the same, so we're just going to be changing some things. All right, let's do it step by step so you know what's actually going on. All right, so I'm going to do this. Let's copy this first. All right, so we're going to copy this, Control C, like I said, and then I'm going to come over here, and then we're going to add it right under this React one, and it's going to be Control V. And also, if you're using a code editor like mine over here at VS Code, you could come to file. You could choose whether to save to auto save your code when you put it in, or you want to Control S, that's to save on your own. I like to use to manually save on my own, so I'm not coding and then I add something new, and before it can register, or if it has a problem, the code line has a problem, it just brings down my whole listen. So I really like to make sure there are no errors before I push it out. So, and then come back here, and then we copy this, Control C, then we go back, Control. So then we come over here. Let's go back one. Then we come over here. Then we do Control V. Come. Sorry, my bad. Control Z. Then we go inside here and we do Control. One sec. Control V. Remember to add the comma. Alright. And just like that, we're set. Alright, so now let's Control S. And now that we've saved that, our Tailwind is configured.